What's up, everybody? Welcome to Theory Thursday, Clapton week style. So tonight what we're going to talk about is applied minor scale. And we're going to use the song that we kicked off this week with, Cocaine, as the way to look at how a minor scale is actually applied and, well, what it is and how you would use it. Well, it's just a good way to really understand and see what the minor scale is all about. So just as a quick refresher, grab my pick here. I shot the sheriff. The cocaine riff that we're going to be looking at here is that walk down at the end of the verse. So let's make sure that we understand how to do that. It's the E, which is the 7th fret of the A string, to the D, which is the 5th fret of the A string, to the C, which is the 3rd fret of the A string, and then the B, which is the 2nd fret of the A string. So you have E, D, C, B. Do me a favor, go ahead and play through those chords, but make sure that your eyes are looking at the board. Really important that you do that so you're going to be able to understand intervals when we talk about them shortly here. So E, D, C, B. Go ahead and look through that. Hey, John, good evening to you. Hey, Kendall, good to see you guys. All right, so moving on. Let's talk about what a minor scale is. So it's the major scale, but with a flatted 3rd, a flatted 6th, and a flatted 7. So let me zoom in here and I'll show you what I mean by that. All right, so if we're talking about a major scale, and I'm just using A as the example here, that's what an A major scale would sound like. It's 1, 2, major 3rd, 4, 5, major 6, major 7, and then 8. Now, it's not really important for you to play that scale right now. It's just that I want you to hear the tones. Now, when we talk about a minor scale, we said it's a flatted 3rd, a flatted 6th, and a flatted 7. So if I count 1, 2, 3, well, my flat 3 is going to sound like that. It's a half step below because flat means go down a half step. So, hey, what's up, Ben? What I would do is instead of playing that note there, I would play it here. So that's my flatted 3rd. Now, the 6th tone would also be played here, flat, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 should be here in the major scale, but we flatten it, moving it down half step, and just for ease of playing, we put that note there. As you can hear, it's the same note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, because that's our major 7. Flat means a half step down, and then our 1 again. So now our A minor scale would look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minor 6, flat, or you could say minor 7, and then root. Okay, so at its core, that is what a minor scale is. It's a major scale with a flat 3, a flat 6, and a flat 7. So I put it together a little chart for you to see here, which maps it out. So if everybody looks at that chart there, you'll see that the pattern to get any minor scale would be whole half, whole, whole half, whole, whole. And cocaine is in the key of E minor. So we start on the E, and I'm going to play just the open E string so that you can play along with me if you want. I'm just going to be using the open E string. So we hit E as our 1, and then the 2nd fret, the F sharp right there, that's going to be our 2. And then a half step from F sharp is the 3rd fret, G. That's your minor 3rd. Then a whole step is going to be A, which is your 5th. And then another whole step is B, which is your 5th. So A is the 4, B is the 5. Then a half step to get to your minor 6. And then a whole step to get to your flat 7, and then again another whole step to get back to your root. So you have E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, and then E again. That would be your, oh, sorry, let me pump it up a little bit. Sorry for the volume thing there. That should be a little bit better. I'm not sure what happened there, but thanks for the call out on that, Ben. Oh, I see. That should be much better. Somebody adjusted my volume without letting me know. Walker, if you're out there listening, I hope you didn't touch that volume. Anyway, okay, so Ben, give me a shout out. Is that better? So E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, and E. That's your E minor scale. Okay, whole, half, whole, half, whole. Yeah, sorry about that volume thing, guys. I didn't even see it there, but thanks for letting me know. So we're much better now. Okay, so make sure you can play through your E minor scale because we wanna see it. And now we go and apply it to chords, and we're going to use power chords as our vessel here. So everybody go to the 7th fret of your A string and the 9th fret of your D. That's what we call your E power chord. That was also the first chord of Cocaine. Now, if that's our 1 and we're going backwards, meaning towards the headstock of the guitar, this way, go, I'm reading these comments. I get it because I've spent a bunch of time in Massachusetts. Okay, so if we're going towards the headstock this way, E is 1, but it's also, you can think of it 8 because of the octave concept. So below 8 is 7, flat 7, right? So we're a whole step backwards. So if you have E and go a whole step below, that's your D, which is your flat 7, right? So we went 1 or 8, because they're the same thing, 7. Now we go another whole step backwards to our minor 6. So we're playing a C chord, which is 3rd fret A string, 5th fret D. Okay, now if we look at our chart, you'll see that C lines up with the minor 6. And then we go a half step below that to get to B, which is our 5th. So the progression is going E, D, C, B. And if we look at our chart and see how it lines up, that is 1 or 8, because they're the same thing, flat 7, flat 6, 5, back to 1, right? And we've talked before that a 5 to 1 is a nice resolution thing, because 5, what's called the perfect fifth, wants to go to 1. So if you're looking at your board, you can actually see this minor scale in action because you're going, let me zoom in again, see if I can get this to you guys. 8 goes back to 7, goes back to 6, goes back to 5. And I'm talking about degrees of the minor scale, not frets. We're at the 8th fret, or sorry, the 8th chord, or the 1st. It's the same thing. That's what we call it an octave. 7, 6, 5. So if you're playing a progression, a rock and roll progression, you can use those combinations and have a really cool sound. Right, so let's apply this. So what if we're not in the key of E? What if we're in, let's say, the key of D, right, which is a whole step down? Well, we can take that same concept, and Ben, you'll like this because it's a songwriting tool. You can take that same concept and move through. Right, I'm just walking down the minor scale. Now I could also go up the minor scale. And John, this is a special shout out to you. Last night when we were jamming, I was playing that octave thing. You're like, what was that riff? I was just playing octaves in a minor scale, right? Just moving through the pattern. So I could go, well, you know. Right, so it sounds really cool, but really what it is just moving through the minor scale. And you can see it, that's how this song is composed. right? You have your root back to your flat 7 to your root, and then walking down through your scale. So what I would advise you to do is to build up your scale on the open strings going horizontally on the fretboard to try and see them and then put chords to them, whether that be octaves or power chords. So let's go with a couple chord selections here. We'll take, for example, A, right? So if you hit your open A string, that would be 1, and then a whole step from A would be B, and then a half step from B would be C, and then a whole step from C would be D, and then another whole step, E, and then a half step, F, and then a whole step, G, and then a whole step, A. So if I go back to my theory chart here, and if you just look at the WHWW pattern, so you have A, whole step from A, B, half step from B, C, whole step from C, D, and then you have, where are we at? I lost my position here, guys. Whole step would be the E, and then half, whole, and whole. Now you can turn those into chords. So what I'm doing there, A, B, C, B, or the 1 to the 2 to the flat 3 to the 2. Now if I know my scale this way, I could jump up to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, and just make endless combinations and riffs. But that's really what's happening in any of these chord-based songs is they're playing what are called intervals taken from a scale. Now we look at, as soloists, we think of a scale this way for the most part, right? Up and down on the neck. And when we talk about the minor scale, the minor pentatonic scale, we're thinking that way. But there's this whole other world that goes this way. And that's, really a good way to approach the guitar neck, and it'll help you connect the dots with your pentatonic scales or any other scales, because oftentimes players will ask, well, I'm good this way, but I can't connect the shapes. How do I connect the shapes? And I think playing chords and seeing your scale that going this way will help you ultimately thread together your minor pentatonics or whatever scale pattern that you're trying to do. Okay, so one more quick review on this and we'll get out of here. Just a quick little lesson on this today for you guys. As the Boston boys go back and forth. Too crazy. Okay, so just a quick review one more time. The song Cocaine is in E minor, and we're focusing on the turnaround at the end, understanding that it is a minor scale that's applied, and that's what the whole point of this. So we mapped out the E minor scale by using the whole half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole progression. We see that the E is 1, F sharp's 2, G is 3, A is 4, B is 5, C is 6, D is 7, and E is 8. So we start on the 8, the E, also the 1. And then we have the D, which is the 7, the C, which is the 6, and then the B, which is the 5. Now, one final thing I want to talk about here, and this is for any of you songwriters out there, is the use of the minor 6 chord going into a 5. So listen to how this chord is held a little bit longer, right? But that's intentional because it builds tension. Intentional because it builds tension. It wants to resolve to that. So they go, and it makes that B chord so much more fulfilling. Listen to what would happen if I didn't hold on that C as long. It acts more as a passing tone rather than a tension tone or a tension note. So I'll play it again. This is without it being lengthened. Now here it is played actually as we heard it in the song. Right? So the longer you stay on those chords that create tension, the more fulfilling the release note actually is, which in this case was the B. So cool little songwriting idea there if you want to try it. Anyway, so if anybody has any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat real quick. If not, you can still type them in here, and then I'll see them later and address them. But minor scale, that's how you do it. It's not just for pentatonics. It's not just for soloing. It's for songwriting and doing riffs. And even if you're not a songwriter, one of the most fulfilling things about playing the guitar is just being able to pick up and play. And if you don't know your scale or what chords to do and use, you're much more likely to just play things that you know. And that's not really challenging, and sometimes that can just get boring. But if you know your scale, then you can jump around between these different intervals as I just demonstrated, and you just pick up and play, kind of like what I was doing the other day, John, when I was playing those octaves. And I'll give you another example. Just right, that wasn't planned. That's just me having a good grasp on rhythm for the most part, and being able to see my scale this way, and knowing that if I land on this second fret, it's going to sound good. And if I want to create a little bit of tension, then I go to the third fret and then go back to the second fret, and it's going to sound good. So that way you build your confidence, and you're able to just pick up and play, and that's the whole point. And that's why you would want to learn music theory, is just so you can apply it. Applied music theory, that's the name of the course we got going on here. Anyhow, boy, what a fun week. What a fun week this has been, doing the Clapton stuff. We all had a great time doing those jams last night. If you didn't check it out, then for sure you'll see them in the channel. And I haven't been doing this enough, but most of you guys are already subscribed. But if you're not subscribed, do me a favor, just hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell so you get notifications. We're going to start putting up way more content in the coming weeks, and not just doing the live streams. I'll continue to do those as well. But way more lesson videos, and we have a whole bunch of really cool things planned to give you guys just much more content. And then for any of you Players Club members out there, your virtual songs are going to be delivered to you hopefully by Monday. We're getting really close to having those down now. They're just getting the final touches with the vocals right now. But that's going to be fun. They look great, and that's going to be a good jam. So we'll get into that shortly. And then as far as next week goes, pretty sure we're going to be visiting the world of the Pink and talking about David Gilmour. So it may change, but I'm feeling like that's the vibe we're going to go for. So it'll be cool. But if you have a suggestion on which player you'd like me to focus on in the coming weeks, please let me know, and I'm happy to do it. We're going to be focusing on Angus. Pretty soon. We'll do a Page one. We'll do David Gilmour. We'll do Billy Gibbons. We'll do Jeff Beck. We'll do tons of players. There's so many to work on. But if you have a player you want me to work on and show you tunes and techniques and stuff, just leave it in the chat and I'll check it out later. But until then, make sure you review this theory stuff, because it is important. It's not completely necessary. I mean, you can have fun playing guitar with one chord, but why not try it? Just do the best that you can. Anyway, you guys have been great. Have an awesome weekend. I will see you on the other side of 38.